A land of czars and stars, a journey through time. Russia, a land of vast forests and icy plains, stretching from Europe to Asia. It is a country of immense geographical diversity, with landscapes that range from the frozen tundras of Siberia to the rolling hills of the Ural Mountains. It is a place of rich history and culture. Russian culture is a tapestry woven with threads of art, literature, music, and dance, each telling a story of its own. From the intricate designs of folk art to the grandeur of its architecture, Russia's cultural heritage is both vast and varied. From the early Slavs to the mighty Russian Empire, the story of Russia is one of incredible transformation. The early Slavic tribes, with their unique customs and traditions, laid the groundwork for what would become one of the most powerful empires in history. Join us as we travel through time, exploring the events and people that shaped this fascinating nation. We'll delve into the lives of significant figures, from the legendary Tsars to the revolutionary leaders who changed the course of history. We'll begin our journey in the heart of Eastern Europe. This region, with its dense forests and winding rivers, was the cradle of early Slavic civilization. Here, amidst the forests and rivers, lived the early Slavic tribes. These communities were known for their close-knit social structures and their deep connection to the land. These people would lay the foundation for a powerful empire. Over time, their small settlements grew into bustling cities, and their leaders became powerful rulers who would shape the destiny of the nation. We will witness the rise of powerful rulers, the clash of empires, and the enduring spirit of the Russian people. From the Mongol invasions to the Napoleonic Wars, Russia's history is marked by epic battles and heroic resistance. Get ready to explore Russia's incredible journey. The resilience and determination of its people have been the driving force behind the nation's enduring legacy. From humble beginnings to global superpower, the story of Russia is a tale for the ages. Let's begin our exploration. Through the centuries, Russia has transformed from a collection of small principalities into a global superpower, leaving an indelible mark on the world stage. Join us as we uncover the layers of history that have shaped this remarkable nation. In the heart of Eastern Europe, long before the world heard of Moscow or St. Petersburg, lived the Eastern Slavs. These tribes were scattered across the land. They lived in small villages surrounded by dense forests. Life was simple, focused on farming, hunting, and fishing. The Slavs were a diverse group. They spoke similar languages but had different customs and beliefs. They were skilled craftsmen and traders, connecting with neighboring tribes across vast distances. They traded furs, honey, and beeswax. Around the 6th century, these Slavic tribes started to unite. They formed loose alliances for protection against nomadic invaders. This marked the beginning of early Slavic statehood. Among these early states, one would rise to prominence: Kievan Rus. In the 9th century, a Viking leader named Oleg conquered the city of Kiev. Oleg, known for his strategic brilliance and fierce leadership, saw the potential in the city and its surrounding regions. He united the surrounding Slavic tribes under his rule, forging a powerful alliance that would lay the foundation for a new state. This unification was not just a political maneuver, but a cultural amalgamation that brought together diverse traditions and practices. This was the birth of Kievan Rus, a powerful East Slavic state. Kievan Rus grew rapidly, expanding its territories and influence. The state became a beacon of prosperity and strength in the region. It controlled important trade routes between Scandinavia and the Byzantine Empire, facilitating the exchange of goods, ideas, and culture. These trade routes were the lifeblood of Kievan Rus, bringing in wealth and fostering diplomatic relations. Its wealth and influence grew, making it a major player in European affairs. The legacy of Kievan Rus would echo through the centuries, influencing the development of Eastern Europe.
In 988, Prince Vladimir, ruler of Kievan Rus, made a momentous decision. He converted to Christianity, a move that would transform the spiritual and cultural landscape of his realm. This decision was influenced by his desire to unify his people under a single faith and to strengthen ties with the Byzantine Empire. This choice would have a profound impact on the future of Russia. The Christianization of Kievan Rus marked the beginning of a new era, one that would see the rise of the Russian Orthodox Church as a central institution in Russian life.
The conversion to Christianity marked a new dawn for Kievan Rus. It led to the construction of magnificent churches and cathedrals, inspired by Byzantine architecture, which became symbols of the new faith and the state's growing power. It brought the state closer to the Byzantine Empire, fostering stronger diplomatic and cultural ties. This relationship would prove to be mutually beneficial, as both states exchanged knowledge, art, and religious practices, and opened up new avenues for cultural and political influence. The infusion of Byzantine culture enriched Kievan Rus', leaving a lasting legacy that would shape the region's history for centuries to come.
Kievan Rus' flourished for centuries. However, a new threat emerged from the east, the Mongols. Led by the fearsome Genghis Khan, the Mongol Empire swept across Asia, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. In the 13th century, the Mongols, under the leadership of Batu Khan, turned their attention to Kievan Rus'. The Mongol invasion was swift and brutal. Cities were sacked, and the once mighty Kievan Rus' was shattered into smaller principalities. The Mongol invasion had a profound impact on Russia. It marked the end of Kievan Rus' dominance and ushered in a period of Mongol rule known as the Tatar yoke. Section 5 from Moscow's Ashes, the rise of the Tsars. As the Mongol grip on Russia loosened, a new power emerged in the east, the Grand Duchy of Moscow. Moscow's strategic location and shrewd rulers helped it grow in strength and influence. The princes of Moscow gradually consolidated their power. They collected taxes for the Mongols and suppressed rivals. They used their wealth to expand their territory and influence. One ruler, Ivan I, earned the nickname Kalita, meaning money bag. He made Moscow the richest and most powerful principality. Ivan's successors continued his policies, setting the stage for Moscow to become the center of a new Russian state. Section 6, Peter the Great, a Tsar's window to the west. In the 17th century, a young Tsar named Peter I, later known as Peter the Great, came to power. Born in 1672, Peter ascended to the throne at the tender age of 10, co-ruling with his half-brother Ivan V until he became the sole ruler in 1696. Peter was determined to modernize Russia. He recognized that Russia was lagging behind Western Europe in many aspects, particularly in technology and military prowess. He was fascinated by Western technology and culture. In 1697, Peter embarked on the Grand Embassy, a diplomatic mission to Europe, where he traveled incognito to learn about shipbuilding, military tactics, and modern industry. Peter embarked on a series of reforms that transformed Russia. He reorganized the government, established new administrative divisions, and introduced new laws to centralize his power. He built a powerful navy, modernized the army, and introduced Western education and customs. Peter established the first Russian Navy base and built a fleet that could rival those of European powers. He also founded the city of St. Petersburg, which became Russia's new capital and a symbol of its westward orientation. Built on the marshlands along the Baltic Sea, St. Petersburg was designed to be a window to the west, showcasing Russia's new modernity. Peter's reforms were not without their critics. The traditional Russian nobility, known as the boyars, were particularly resistant to his changes, fearing the loss of their power and influence. Many Russians resisted his changes, which they saw as a betrayal of traditional values. The introduction of Western customs, such as shaving beards and adopting Western dress, was met with significant opposition. However, Peter's legacy as a transformative ruler is undeniable. His efforts to modernize Russia laid the groundwork for the country's future development and integration into the European political and cultural sphere. He laid the foundation for Russia's emergence as a major European power. Under his rule, Russia expanded its territory, gained access to the Baltic Sea, and became a formidable force in European politics. Peter the Great's vision and determination forever changed the course of Russian history. Section 7, Revolution's Fire, the Fall of the Tsar. By the early 20th century, Russia was a land of stark contrasts. While the Tsar and the aristocracy lived in opulence, the vast majority of Russians endured poverty and oppression. Discontent with the Tsarist regime grew, fueled by economic hardship and political repression. In 1905, a wave of protests and strikes swept across Russia, forcing the Tsar to make some concessions. However, these reforms proved insufficient to quell the growing revolutionary sentiment. World War I proved to be the final straw for the Tsarist regime. The war exacerbated Russia's existing problems, leading to widespread shortages, economic collapse, and millions of casualties. Section 8. The Hammer and Sickle, a new era begins. In 1917, revolution engulfed Russia. The Tsar was overthrown, and a new government led by the Bolshevik Party and its leader Vladimir Lenin came to power. The Bolsheviks promised peace, land, and bread to the Russian people.
They signed a peace treaty with Germany, withdrew Russia from World War I, and implemented radical economic and social reforms.
The Bolshevik Revolution marked a turning point in Russian history. It led to the establishment of the world's first communist state, the Soviet Union, and ushered in a new era of ideological confrontation with the capitalist West. Section 9. The Cold War, a world on the brink. After World War II, a new global conflict emerged, the Cold War. The Soviet Union and the United States, former allies against Nazi Germany, became locked in a bitter rivalry that would shape the latter half of the 20th century.